For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record.
Hey, what up fam, it's Christy here. I want to say hey y'all. I am coming to you today because, as we all know, April is Autism Awareness Month. For those of you who are new to my channel, you may not know, but for those of you who have been excuse me, on my channel for a while, you know that we do have a child who has autism, or who has been diagnosed with autism and ADHD. And I wanted to come and talk to you guys about the awareness of autism. Now, as you all know, the word awareness means that you know that it exists. Aware, you're aware of it. You know that it exists. You know that it is here. But there is a lot of people who don't know signs of autism, who don't know signs of, people who have autism, or who have any type of developmental or neurological issues. Now, I did want to let you guys know that this day and age now, a lot of people are being diagnosed with autism. Now, years ago, a lot of people weren't being diagnosed with autism. Nobody really had a label or a title to give it. And I think that was primarily because the spectrum for it was so vast that they had to give it a name, a title, or a diagnosis. So autism is the diagnosis. Now, are there any specific things that you can pinpoint? Sometimes there is, but a lot of times there isn't. And I say that because the autism spectrum is so vast. There's so many types of issues or signs that are going on that a lot of people don't know how to recognize them. And I mean, it can be a little frustrating, a little bit, and it makes a lot of people very ignorant, to the fact of what autism is. You don't look like, some people will say, oh, I didn't know that she had autism. I would never know. She don't look like it. Well, what does autism look like? Does autism have a look to it? I didn't know that a person with autism looked a certain way. Or you look like you have autism. How? Anybody can have that diagnosis. And it's so vast, from somebody being completely, like you can have a high functioning person who has autism. There are they have high functioning autism. Then you have some that are, low functioning, and then you have some that are in the middle. You have some that are able to walk, talk, feed themselves. You have some that aren't able to communicate. Who aren't able to function at all. So when I say that spectrum is vast, I mean vast. Now, as far as me, let me give you a little bit of background on what I went through to find out, what was going on with my daughter. My daughter's name is Fatima. We call her Fifi. That is our baby. That's everybody's baby. We love our Fifi. And Fifi is a twin. And her twin's name is Micah, and we call Micah Minnie. Y'all have seen my twins. They're a handful, both of them. But when Fatima was little, baby, I did notice a lot of things that were different with her than what was going on with Minnie. Primarily the fact of a lot of times you would say, hey Fifi, hey Fifi, and you would just get the, you know, and you're like, you don't see mommy, hi, you know, you're in their face. And you know, every once in a while, yes, she might smile, you know, but for the most part, it was just always, I was like, she's such a serious baby. She's so serious. She was very serious. Like, she always kept a serious look on her face, like she meant business. But that wasn't the case. I did know, or find out early on that she had problems with her fine motor skills. Like, for instance, like if we would hand a toy to Micah, she would grab it, or she would grab at it to grab it. But when we like dangled a toy in front of Fifi to grab it, she didn't know how to cup her hands or grab it and hold on to it. Like, it was almost like she had no clue on what to do to get it. Like, she would see it, but she couldn't. And then after the fact of her not being able to do it, she would just become uninterested. You know, and that just went on. I had no idea. We did bring it up to our pediatrician. She did tell us, you know, to try different things with her, which is what we did. We did try. Some things got better, some things didn't. And it wasn't until they started preschool. They started preschool at 3 years old. And that was the real eye-opener for us. What happened was, at the school, they had a board. And some of you may have heard me tell this story. They had a board, and the board had clothespins on it. And on the clothespin had the child's name. So Fatima's name was on the clothespin. So what you would do is that when you came to school that day, you would take the clothespin off, and you would put it on the school side. And when you got ready to leave, you would take your name off and put it on home. So it was brought to my attention that Fatima wasn't recognizing her name, even though they were 3. After seeing your name for a certain amount of time, you might not be able to spell it. You might not be able to know what the letters are, but you are familiar with what it looks like. And she wasn't familiar with what it looked like, and she wasn't even interested in trying to get familiar with what it looked like, because she couldn't grab the pen. She couldn't grab the clothespin. So, and when someone would tell her to grab the clothespin, you would have to take her hand under your hand and help her pinch the clothespin with enough force to open it and move it. So the teacher noticed that. They noticed that she was having severe meltdowns during class. She's very clingy to somebody who was an adult that she really liked. She was very clingy to the point where sometimes the teacher had to sit while she was teaching class with Fatima on her lap. And a lot of times she wouldn't keep still, and you know, so on and so forth. So it was brought to my attention there. So I stayed back one day after I dropped her off, and I watched in the distance to see how she reacted. And I didn't know if it was behavioral, so I wanted to see. And I watched her, and they stood her in front of the board, and he was like, Fatima, find your name and move your name. And she just stood there, and she's looking down. And they're like, the board's like right in front of her, and she's like, and she's standing in front of the board, and she's looking everywhere but at the board. They're like, Fatima, find your name, find your name, find your name. So it broke my heart this particular day, because one of the kids said, she's not gonna find her name. She don't know what her name is. She don't know how to do that. She don't know how to do that. She's not gonna find her name. So when the little girl said that, I was just like, you know, got my little, but then I had to realize this is a 3-year-old. 3-year-olds are telling the truth, you know. They're not going to say anything malicious, because they really don't know how to be malicious at 3. But she was just talking about what she saw and what she knew and what happened every day. Fatima did the same thing every day. They even had times where they stood her there and stood her there and stood her there and made her find her name and wouldn't let her move because they thought it was behavioral. But then after a while, they realized that it wasn't. So I did get help. I went to our public school system and tried to explain to them what I needed or what she needed, and they turned me down as well. They said, no, I don't believe, she's having any issues. They did a hearing test. She could hear fine. They did this, and it seemed like she was right on target. I'm like, lady, I have 3 other children. There is an issue. So either you're going to help me or you're not. I mean, I was serious. So after a while, they said, you know what? Since you're so passionate about what's going on with her, we're going to put her in a diagnostic classroom. So in about 2 weeks, they had a diagnostic classroom. The diagnostic classroom lasted for 3 weeks. They put her in there, and in the diagnostic classroom, there's teachers, there's social workers, there's psychologists, there's all sorts of people. And everybody is in the classroom, participating in the classroom, but they're also looking at your child. So after the diagnostic classroom lasted for 3 weeks. So after that 3 weeks, we had a meeting. And they apologized to me. And they said, Miss Morris, I'm sorry, because now we understand what you saw. Now we understand what they saw, and we're going to help you. At that point, my daughter got an IEP. She was in a special education preschool. They did tell me what they thought that she had, but she hadn't had a diagnosis as of yet. I got put on a waiting list for the only physician that will be able to diagnose my daughter here in the Hampton Roads area. There's only a few, but there was only one that was able. So I was on the wait list for 6 months, y'all. 6 long months. But in the meantime, my daughter was getting help. She was going to preschool, and she had a whole classroom full of kids that were like her, and she felt more comfortable. I don't know how her teacher did it. Her name was Miss Hollinser. I give it up to Miss Hollinser because she was her first preschool special education teacher. I give it up because one day I came into that classroom with them kids. I was like, girl, this is your calling. Because this couldn't I be in the corner crying somewhere? Because you got to watch this one over here, that one over there, that one doing this, and then you got them over there fighting over. Girl, I couldn't do it. But she held it down. She was awesome. That was her first preschool teacher. And finally got my appointment. We went to the developmental doctor, and she did diagnose her with developmental delay. Excuse me. She was diagnosed with developmental delay. Also, she was diagnosed as having autism and ADHD. So right then and there, I was, I felt relief, but then I got scared at the same time. Because when your child has a disability of any sort, or what the world sees as a disability, you automatically think about what the quality of their life is going to be when they grow up. Then you go into warrior mode, because you know that nobody's going to advocate for your child like you. Nobody's going to have their back like you. Nobody's going to fight their fight for them like you. So that's one thing that I bet every parent who has a child with any kind of disability, disorder, or what have you, you know that you're in for the fight of your life. And nobody's going to have your child's back. Nobody's going to have their best interests at heart. Nobody's going to do what's right for them but you. You have to put your big girl panties on, or your big boy boxes on, whatever the case may be, and you got to buckle up for the ride, because it's going to be a ride. but it can be a rewarding ride to know that you're doing all that you can to make sure that your child gets the help that they need. And I've just been blessed thus far in this autism journey with my child. She is such a sweetheart. Everybody loves her, and she has a huge support system, and I just been blessed in that aspect. But in the beginning, I felt alone because I felt like they said, okay, here, your daughter has autism, ADHD, and she has developmental delay. Here you go. All right, nice to meet you. And then I walked out of the office like, okay, we have a diagnosis. Now what? Now what do I do? I felt alone. And so, me being the mom I am, I came home and I was on the internet. I was researching. I was talking to my pediatrician. I was letting her know she need this, and this. She need this. This is what's going on. So when I'm telling her what's going on, she's getting me the therapist I need. She's making sure that Fatima's getting what she needs. She's getting everything that she needs. So at this point, we've been pretty blessed to have a huge support system in this journey. I just want you guys to know that you are not alone. There are so many people out here who have autism, but you need to be aware that autism exists. Everybody has their analogies as to how autism started. Oh, it started from vaccinations. If you get your kids vaccinated, then they're going to have autism. But what about the kids who were never vaccinated and they still have autism? There's no absolute knowledge as to what is causing people to have autism. There's no absolute knowledge at all, but there is help. So don't ever feel alone. Stop judging. You don't know what that mother who has to go to the grocery store with her 13 or 15-year-old and they're acting up in the store and they're having a meltdown and she's trying to hurry up and throw her change to the cashier so she can get out of the store before the child completely melts down and causes a scene. You're looking at like, what in the world is going on with him? Why he acting? You don't know what's going on. Stop judging people. Just like the cashier that's ringing up your groceries at the register. He might not be looking at you. He might be looking past you. But he can hear you. He's responding to you. But he's not making eye contact. And you might be like, well, dang, he rude. He's so disrespectful. You don't know that he might not be able to make eye contact with you. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know that, Joe Schmo across the street, you might say hey to him and he hurrying and skedaddling to the car because the outside world he's having a sensory overload from just walking out of his house to get in his car. You don't know. You don't know what someone else's issues are. They have sensory issues. They could not be able to function in the world as you do. Autism looks like me. Autism looks like you. Autism looks like your mom, your dad, your kids. Autism doesn't have a look. Stop judging people and start loving people. They didn't ask for this, but they are asking for acceptance. They're asking that, that you're aware and that you know that this does happen, that this is a part of our world. They just want to be accepted. They just want to be loved. Stop looking at the lady whose child is falling out in the store and you're like, she need to get him. Because I don't know what's wrong with him. He acting up in the store. She need to go hit. You don't know. She might not have nobody else that can watch her kid. She might not have nobody else. So regardless of what's going on, be supportive, be understanding. Tell her it's okay. That's your baby. Take care of your child. It's fine. Don't worry about these people in here. Don't worry about it. And if you do know someone has autism, stop treating them according to their diagnosis. Which means, oh, he has autism. No, he's a regular child. A regular child. Just like your normal is your normal, that's their normal. That's their normal. So I beg to you today, guys, hopefully something that I said will encourage someone or anyone, and it doesn't even have to be a child with autism or an adult with autism, just a person with any type of disorder, any type of diagnosis. Just be accepting. Just be helpful. Be understanding. If you see a child or a person having a meltdown, don't draw attention. Don't be like, oh my God, what are they? No, just be understanding. Just be like, okay, come on. Sometimes you can't intervene because they aren't comfortable. They don't know you. But just be understanding and go along your way. Just go along your way. Don't make a big deal out of it. Because trust me, that mom doesn't want a scene. It's embarrassing. But she don't have a choice. Be understanding, okay? Just be understanding. Be aware that autism does exist. And it is normal. It's their normal. And it should become our normal too. We all have to survive in this world, and we all want to be accepted and loved. No different. But like I said, hopefully you guys found something that I said in this video useful. Hopefully you will take what I said and understand that autism does exist and become aware of it. And make sure you leave me a comment in the comment section below if you have any questions for me. Hopefully that I'll be able to help you. If I can't help you, I will find the answers for you. Also, just let me know some experiences that you've dealt with. Just leave me a comment, you guys, okay? And until next time, thank you for joining me today, and I will talk to you guys later.